for ROCCAT was Cassidin. We kind of expected that Cassidin would be banned in there somewhere. The third ban, though, for SK Gaming was, in fact, Vi aimed at Jankos.
I'm a bit surprised about that, because Jankos has played so many different champions.
Yeah.
He doesn't really seem to favor just one. So banning the Vi out, I'm not too sure about that one. But obviously SK has something in mind. Let's see, though, if they do first pick the AD carry.
And the real interesting thing is that he's not actually played Vi this season. So out of all the things to ban, Vi.
So either they have scouted ROCCAT really well and know they've been spamming Vi this week, or they're more or less just taking a guess.
Well, we'll see about that one. They have taken away the Kale, which, you know, Jesus has played, but Overpower's certainly played to a massive, massive level. That, of course, left Elise open, and SK Gaming take that away first.
I mean, Elise first pick, very standard, and you force now the enemy to react to this one. You have to pick a jungler that can deal with Elise early game, or she's just gonna have full control. The Kale ban, it's standard. She's pretty much have to be banned or picked at least every game.
Well, if Svenskeren plays anything like he did in the last game against Alliance, then could be in for a bit of a treat here for SK Gaming. On the other side, ROCCAT taking their time about things here. I don't think they expected the two AD carry bans to come their way. Whether they expected Vi or not obviously depends on how much they've actually been playing that this week, considering that Jankos has not actually played that in the jungle up until now. But it looks like they will go AD carry-wise with the two ban out and pick up the Jinx along with the Trundle.
Now here's the thing with the Jinx pick. Both Annie and Leona are good supports versus Jinx. I would even say Fresh as well. Lack of mobility in lane, you're very open to get hit. You have her now, Enrated, who played an amazing Leona in the last game. If he picks it up again and fully targets towards, or Annie for that case, and targets towards Selava to simply shut him down in teamfights every time, this is very smart tactic. And obviously SK, they've known that ROCCAT will pick up the Jinx early.
And it looks like we will be seeing a Renekton coming in here as well. And Freddy, he's been the solid rock for SK Gaming when he's not been able to, play his game and feel comfortable. It looks like SK really suffer from not having that rock in the top lane.
I mean, they do, but then again, we see him on Renekton last game again. He dominates the Trundle, the Wicked, shuts him out completely, and then every time it was needed, Svenskeren came up when they pushed him down to the turret and dived him. They will try and do the same, especially if Sasus runs the teleport he's having right now. Then Ignite for Freddy will make him completely dominate the lane, and in that case, if he can get enough pressure early, he might actually be able to do some split pushing.
Well, it looks like we will be seeing the Thresh locked in here for ROCCAT, and what else are they going to go for? It's hard to always say with ROCCAT because, of course, they pull Mordekaiser out of there. This time, though, they lock in the Lee Sin for the jungle with Jankos.
Yeah, so he gets his, high mobility early game jungler to deal with this Elise. At the same time, the Fresh pick, I really like it with Jinx because you give her that escape possibility with your Lantern that she didn't have before. So if she should get caught by, let's say, a Tippers, you can Lantern her out and actually make her survive. So I like this pickup, and also we have seen Vander play Fresh before. It is beautiful. It
is beautiful. Vander Life, as you called him in the lineups there. What are we going to see here from SK? They've been switching through Urgot. They had Malzahar there for a second. Not sure that they're going to be the picks that we see. This, however, Ziggs for Jesus and Candy Panda, obviously, Vayne. He played a lot of Vayne last season. Going to wait till he actually locked in before fully commenting on that one, because right now he's just basically trolling and switching through everything. But this Ziggs high probability for Jesus.
Yeah, and we have seen Jesus on Ziggs so many times. He's so good at defending, and also he's so good in the laning phase. Ziggs pretty much beats every champion in the lane, except for maybe something like a Set, but we haven't seen Set in a long time.
Yeah.
So it's just a very safe blind pick, and at the same time you can do multiple roles. You can just wave clear, or you can actually siege. We saw moves in the last game throwing the bombs in so they can push into the turrets, and simply just forcing them away.
I'd say, I hit a 5-man ulti as though it's something you do every single day here in the LCS, but we'll see about that one for Jesus. That will be locked in along with the Vayne here for Candy Panda going in with Annie.
Yeah, I mean, Vayne, Annie is not a lane you normally see. It's kind of mixed a little bit in the way the two champions work. Vayne normally want to farm a lot, where we have the more aggressive poke heavy Annie. I'm not sure how the lane matchup actually is versus a Jinx Fresh. I would say Jinx Fresh has the advantage, but we might actually see SK lane swapping, so they get the level 6 on the Vayne, and once you hit level 6, you have so much, damage over time. due to popping your ultimate, your stealth when you jump around, you're hard to hit and you do the extra damage, they might actually be able to take down Jankos and Vander in a 2v2 fight. I mean, Celevar.
There we go. Gragas was the last pick here for ROCCAT. We actually saw them jungling it yesterday. Don't think that's going to be the case this time around, seeming like that's going to go obviously into the mid lane up against the Ziggs. What do we think to that matchup?
It's very standard, but it's in the favor of Ziggs. If both players play this one well, Ziggs will be able to pressure Gragas in the early game, push him down to the turret and force him to CS under there and lose a lot of it. Because he cannot go close. He cannot go in and last hit a CS without getting poked by Ziggs. He won't have the damage to take Ziggs down before at least level 6. So it's in favor of Ziggs, but all in all, the kill potential you have with Lee Sin Gragas is very high at level 6.
What do we think to this bottom lane? You touched on it briefly there, that the Vayne wants to farm, wants to get rolling so that it becomes that late game beast. Are they going to put a lot of focus on, with Lee Sin onto that bottom lane to try and get the kills there?
I mean, they obviously expect to be able to shut Vayne down 2v2. Jinx is so strong laning-wise when you hit the level 6 mark and you have your burst damage. Also Fresh, he pretty much gives you everything you need, and they can play aggressive because he can just stay a bit behind, throw the lantern if a gank should come. I'm not sure if we're actually going to see Jankos too much focusing there. I think more he wants to get overpower going, and at the same time he wants to help Xaxus survive his lane if it is 1v1 top lane. Otherwise he will be in issues.
Well, you guys have been voting on which teams are going to win today, so let's check in and see how this match added up. I tell you, with 86% of the vote, ROCCAT is far and away your favourites here, and it's hard for me to disagree with that, even after that great performance from SK in the last one.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen enough from SK yet to actually be against this vote. ROCCAT is the favorite. They've been playing amazing so far. Even when they lose, they actually do a very good job. So they are, I think, for everyone. Also, at least for us too, the favorites for this.
Here we go then, in-game with SK versus ROCCAT. And SK certainly going to have to pull a repeat performance of that victory against Alliance here earlier today if they're to match up with the ROCCAT team, who have without a doubt been the surprise package so far in the LCS. Currently sat at 5-2, losing against Fnatic, who are undefeated up until now. That might change in our last game of the day though, here in the LCS. And they lost to the Copa Prizes coming in. But looks like Jez's problem now has been resolved, and we are going to be jumping into game. As we can see, everyone's setting themselves up. SK here waiting inside of that death brush, and we noticed something earlier on, that SK loved that brush there on the top side of the river. Yeah,
they pretty much ward that bush every single game at level 1. Teams have figured it out. They're sometimes waiting in there just to clear the ward, but SK, they just keep doing it every single time. We do see though, very standard start. Nobody wants to invade or try anything. You just want to go to your lanes. And the thing I noticed, we do have to teleport on Xaxus. So we'll be, exciting to see. Can he deal with this Renekton?
That's something we'll have to find out as things start to develop. At the moment, everyone kind of set up in that typical line defense, and there's the ward, and ROCCAT say, we're going to do that against you this game as well. There was a ward put down on the top side and one down here in that bottom brush, so that they've got complete vision over where Vander and Celevar are going to be going, and that means there's 2v2 going in. Are they going to go for it though? They know the position of ROCCAT, and they've kind of revealed themselves from this one. Are they going to try and bully them out? Doesn't look like it. They just back off.
It would have been a very aggressive start from the bot lane of SK. Wisely enough though, they don't want to take the fight here in the start. Candy Panda actually is getting taken really low already.
Yeah, almost half of his health gone from that one, just challenging up against Celevar. They still need to be careful here with Enrated having that stun built up and ready. If he decides to go aggressive on them, that could be a real problem. But as we talked about before, Vander's hook's been amazing. We should watch at level 2 if they can hit that one first, whether they go in, and Vander's already positioning himself through the minions for it.
They do need the next wave before they actually get the level 2, and now the wave has pushed down too much for him to really be aggressive, because they're too close to the turret of SK Gaming.
Now, in that mid lane, we just saw that brief second, Ziggs versus Gragas, Jesus versus Overpower, but this bottom lane, we're getting ready for this level 2, and there it is. ROCCAT hit that one, but SK sticking themselves behind the minions to try and stay out of danger. There is the hook coming out, and Candy Panda just tumbles off to the left.
Yeah, nice dodge by Candy Panda. He's actually getting chased away now from his own turret.
He will be able to come back in from that one, and that's because Svenskeren is now walking across the ward that was there earlier on, as it has actually timed out. So There's a new one. Just to make my words from that. That's going to make them see that one. There's a flash. Double stun coming in as well from Enrated. Celeber flashes away, but Svenska unable to pick it up. And we talked so much about him pre-game, and that's the kind of thing that he needed to do here to get them going.
And SK Gaming keeps up the aggression from the Alliance game. Instantly goes in, picks up the first spot. Jankos did a full clear of his jungle, so he was doing the blue buff while Svenskan was ganking, and he couldn't even do anything to help.
Amazing start here once again for SK, and this is the kind of thing that we've pointed out against ROCCAT, that if you give them the early game, generally because they are so strong at that split push game and at team fighting, that you can quickly lose out to them. But if you can beat them in the early game, you stand such a good chance.
And if you can beat them in the early game with an AD carry like Vayne, who's now been getting ahead in CS due to the fact that Celeber died, then you're actually looking very strong when you get to fights. We have seen Candy Panda on this Vayne before. He can carry games alone.
And that's exactly what he's going to be looking to do. There was a ward there from Jesus down in the brush, which spotted Jankos trying to get into that mid lane. As such, won't be able to go through. And we can see already there the CS 26 to 24 as the waves are going to reset themselves. So just a slight lead for Jesus. This top lane, well, it's a top lane matchup between Renekton and Trundle, but it is currently Freddy who's, again, continuing that great play that he's brought almost all season long, ahead in farm at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Freddy has been one of the best players from SK Gaming, if not the best in total. He's constantly doing well, he goes at least even in his lane, and we've seen him earlier how he could carry the games. Right now, if he keeps pushing Xaxus into the turret, once he hit level 6, he can call Svenskan up, and they can do a dive on Xaxus and take him down.
He's right now recalling actually from that top lane. Meanwhile, Jankos is headed down towards
no flash and raided, and you have a Lantern on Vander. It can be very scary.
That is very true. Can get him into a great position here if that's what they're going to go for. Lee Sin stands at the back. Svenskan is actually coming up from that bottom side. The hook already used, though, there by Vander, which means they're going to have to wait if they want that crowd control to be available to them next time around when they do go in. Jankos is still waiting there, but by this point, Svenskan already done his golems. He's up to the tri-bush again. Yeah,
and Jankos is unspotted right here. They couldn't see him. The hook comes in.
They get on towards Enrated, but are they going to follow through? Lee Sin will dive towards the back. Enrated falling low. Focus going on. Oh, that's a great cocoon. Jankos going super low. And actually, in the end, no one going down. Both Enrated and Svenskan getting low, but no kill.
Crazy fight, and both junglers, they think alike. We want to go to this bot lane. Flashes were used before. We want to try and snowball it even harder.
Didn't work out this time around, and ROCCAT was backing off from that one, putting those wards in position once again. Top lane is continuing the trend that we've been seeing here between Freddy and Xaxus, where he does have that slight lead. Don't forget that teleport though on Xaxus. If he's able to get himself, far enough away from Freddy to prevent the stun coming down and get himself into that lane, you've always got to factor that extra man into a fight.
But the thing is, Freddy can always call if Xaxus is missing from the lane, because he pushes it down to the turret. So if Xaxus is gone to teleport, he has to move far away from the turret, and it's easy for Freddy to call and for his team to then back off and play careful.
This wave pushed right up onto the turret now by ROCCAT. Actually, it's 1.5 waves that are going in with that one. Jankos is coming down as well, and are they going to be able to finish off this turret before Candy Panda gets back in? Of course, that bottom turret not as strong anymore. As Enrated keeping his distance from this one, actually starting to edge forward. Jesus is actually level 6 now. He's going to throw down the bomb to this bottom lane, which will wipe out the minions. The turret's surviving there, barely.
Nice move though by Jesus. He saves it by using his ultimate. I'm not sure though if Jankos stays, he can still take the turret. It seems though he's backing off and just letting it stay as it is for now, and maybe let ROCCAT try and take it 2v2.
See, while Jankos is away, that Svenskan running a bit of a mock in the jungle, and actually the red buff spawning in from this one. That's going to be a freebie for Svenskan. He'll be able to take that one away.
Svenskan is in a great position right now. If he takes this red, Jankos will face check him. Smart play.
Smart play. Saw the smaller creeps there just attacking in towards that brush, and Svenskan just going to follow them back in here, as we did see Freddy come down from that top lane as well, but they are holding complete control on that top side of the jungle.
Yeah, all the pressure in that area. If something should happen, Freddy can freely just move down and help, and also Jess is in a position to move up and help, so they can quickly make it a 3v3.
As I see it again, waves pushed onto his turret, being pretty much happened since the very start of that one. You can see blue buffs are coming up as well, and Jesus will get his hands on the SK one, and assuming the same is going to happen over on the other side for Overpow once Jankos gets that one started. This bottom lane, then we see again aggression coming out of Candy Panda. He's got Vamp Scepter, got Boots of Speed, and that Doran's Blade in from earlier on. On the other side, Vamp Scepter double Doran's Blade actually for Silver.
Yeah, slightly more damage for Silver, but he lacks a bit of mobility. Vayne also has her tumble. It's going to be very hard for him to actually land something on Candy Panda, and he should be able to farm fairly safe.
There is that blue buff finally coming up and into play, and that will be taken away by the barrel for Overpower. So both mid laners got the blue on.
I'm very impressed by Overpower and his farming abilities. He's actually keeping even with 6 right here, even though he's being shoved to the turret all the time.
That was interesting. The pillar put down by Zaza to stop Freddy going through. He just pops his ultimate and says, no, I want this wave between your turrets. That's what I'm going to do. Keep that pressure on towards your tower. However, Jankos is coming around. Freddy might fall short if he's not careful here.
Oh, he is spotted out here though.
Yeah, actually tried to recall from that one. Jankos right on top of him. Does have level 6, so the kick is available, but I think they're just feeling he's too tanky at this point already to take down. Yeah,
Overpower was already moving towards the bot lane, so that's why they gave up the chase, because he wasn't there to move up and, you know, help them kill this very tanky Renekton already at level 8.
Svenskeren did just see the ward put down there by Overpower by Dragon, so knows that they have got full vision of him right now as he recalls. He will be going back home to buy. So this bottom lane, as you said, the CS evening itself out once again. Yeah, they're roughly even at just under 70 CS apiece.
They are level 6 now on the Vayne. Oh, it's the Overpower.
Yeah, going very aggressive, going to pin Jesus to the wall there, but just not enough damage at this point with that chalice in there. Actually, there is a satchel charge being put in. Jesus picks up the Wraith and almost gets a kill. Meanwhile, down in the bottom lane, the Lantern thrown down. There's a great Tibbers coming from Enrated, but the kick is going to push him straight back into the team. But look how low Vanda's gone. Candy Panda almost picked him up there. He's going to chase onto Celiver as well, but they've not got the damage to finish off. Sidestep there from Vanda. Saw that one coming in, was able to move out.
Nice sidestep from him. He survives. They pick up another kill. Jankos is putting more attention to this bot lane than expected, simply because they got this gank from Svenskeren early and they were behind. They needed his help, and he's been there to help them.
And there is Zazas again, having troubles with Freddy in this top lane. Candy Panda can stick around now, though, without the support there, knowing that Celiver's at half HP.
Yeah, I mean, this is fine for Candy Panda. It doesn't even hurt him that much that Enrated died, because he can just stay and free farm, get higher levels. He gets all this XP for himself right here.
Celiver getting none of it because he has to back away from that one. No support, half HP as well.
Now, what we see in the top lane is simply Jankos doesn't have his time to go up and help. He's been there once. He wasn't even in the lane. He was just around. Instead, because he has to use all his focus in the bot lane, Zazus, he just has to try and keep up his CS, and he has to try and keep his tower alive for as long as he can.
Freddy now 20 CS ahead of Zazasu. Now, that constant pressure of having to last hit under the turret obviously becoming a little bit too much to handle for Zazasu, although he's at a position now with that cutlass in that he can balance that one out pretty easy, but Freddy's having no trouble just diving straight in between the towers and picking up that farm.
Svenskeren should have been top at some point and diving on Zazus. He's been constantly around this 50-60% HP, and there's an Ignite on Freddy. He can tank the turret and they can actually kill him fairly easy. They are afraid though of losing the Dragon to ROCCAT. That's probably why Svenskeren didn't go up there.
Dragon not being attempted as of yet, which 11 minutes 50 in. Definitely wouldn't be an early Dragon. Maybe even call it a little bit late by now. It's a good side step from Enrated just to get away. And again, we see the junglers both coming down towards this bottom lane. Ward's in the brush, though. They both decide, say both. Ooh. We actually see Tibbers coming down. Svenskeren is there as well. Have they got the damage? The bomb's coming in. He's going to barrier it. It's not enough damage to get the kill. But there is a cocoon landing on towards Vanda. He's behind the turret. Tibbers was being annoying, but they survive it just about.
But so much action in the bot lane. Everyone wants to fight there. They want to get their lane ahead. Nice engage from Enrated. He managed to hit both people with Tibbers and not even having flash up.
And this is what really opens things up now for SK. Dragon, because of the damage they've done there in that bottom lane, should be theirs for free. Lee Sin is off to the side, isn't in a position to challenge first Dragon, and the game goes to SK.
And great shot calling right here for SK. Freddy, he moved down when the fight started, so he was around the area when they went for the Dragon.
Things go into plan. Almost a 2,000 gold lead is what SK are currently holding on to. This mid lane been relatively quiet, to be honest with you. We've seen Jesus throwing his bomb down into that bottom lane more than anywhere else, really. They're actually even on CS, so as you said, Overpower doing a great job. Whether that's because Jesus playing a little bit more passive and less harassment onto him.
Yeah, it might be he's just focusing on getting the wave to hit his turret and nothing else, not really poking towards Overpower. So he's been able to CS fairly safe, and he's been doing an amazing job. Now they're at the point where he can just wave clear himself, though, so it's just going to be wave clear versus wave clear.
At the AD carry items here once again. BF sword was picked up there by Celiver, so with now him being level 8, I think he is. Yeah, they got that ultimate in there. They need to be careful of the bursts that can come down if they land a hook from Vander.
Yeah, right now, if, as you just said, the hook lands, they can pick up a kill. It doesn't matter who they hook, if it's the Vayne or the Annie, both of them will go down because Celiver has a lot of damage right now.
And the Flame Chomp was actually put in position, and SK decided not to push any further. Actually, that turret super low. We've not seen a turret go down just yet. We can see that that tower has a slither of health. 9 HP, in fact.
Yeah, I mean, once this tower dies, ROCCAT has to make the moves on the map. Issue for them is the dragon is not up, so they are forcing to go either mid lane or try and stay bot lane here and push it further up. But that's very risky, especially with Svenskeren being so active around the bot lane.
And Svenskeren has that pink ward there in the brush, which apparently
he can't see it.
Can't see that one. Which is slightly unfortunate for him because he's got a pink ward in there and he thinks right now I'm being very, very sneaky. I'm being a sneaky spider. And there it is indeed. Can't quite spot that one, sadly enough, for Svenskeren. And so at this stage of things, ROCCAT know that he's there. They're just going to sit back and wait. Make him waste time, basically.
Yeah, I mean, he wasted 10, 15 seconds. Not too much of a problem right here, especially because Jankos wasn't doing anything else on the map.
And the fact that there was not really much up in the jungle anyway, just those golems which he went straight back to. As they spawn in, there was a hook coming out from Vander. Actually, Candy Panda already backing off from that one. That left Enrated a little bit on his own. But his top lane, yeah, they are going to go in on towards Freddy. There's the Q landing from Jankos. Can he get in? Can they finish this one off? He's got the kick, and Jankos does pick up the kill with his ultimate.
And there we see what Jankos had to do. Help Xaxus, they pick up. And we know how good Candy Panda is in the team fights. If he can just get a few kills early, he can just carry his team.
Well, we are going to get back into things now. It seems like Overpower's problem has been fixed, and now you can see the gold currently in the favor just about for SK Gaming. 22.2 to 21.9 at this point. ROCCAT did take the first turret down in that bottom lane, the one we were talking about, with only 9 HP on it, and even having a good go on this top lane as well before Svenskeren could come in and make sure that's protected.
I mean, trundle damage on a turret. That is insane, because you can use your Q to get extra hits on the turret, and you can just, it's like 3 seconds cooldown, so you can just spam it away, and you do so much damage. And you have your Blade of the Rune King, so you have a lot of attack speed combined with that. If Trundle can actually get going later in the game and split pushing, it's going to be very difficult for SK to deal with, and they talked about this in the pre-game interview. We have to stop the split pushing from ROCCAT.
It's one thing to talk about it, it's another thing to actually be able to stop it, though. We'll see how that all develops. At this point, ROCCAT do have the turret lead. But it's in the top lane. It's Freddy that's really running away with the CS there. He's obviously gone some 5k, pretty standard Renekton build at this point. We can see that Xaxus getting a bit of armor in there with that Warden's Mail and that Blade of the Rune King, as you mentioned.
Scary times, though, when in the bot lane, if we actually see a fight going on, if Candy Panda can manage to juke around the ultimate from Celiver, he will be able to kill him. And if you can do that alone, then take the bot turret, I think SK Gaming is just going to keep winning this early game.
I'll look down some of the other items here as well. Jungle, I want to touch on Svenskeren there. Gone for that Haunting, guys. So he's got a lot of damage coming out already.
There's a lot of early game damage. Going for, the early magic pen, it gives you a huge boost. He will also be able to pretty much right now, if we have a fight, land a cocoon on a target, and they can just instant burst it down, followed up then by 6 with all his AoE and Freddy going in. So the SK team fight, if it should come for the next dragon in about a minute, they're actually in a very good position.
Yeah, and Xaxus in the top, and because he's gone in there for that Blade of the Ruined King, if they pile all that magic damage in on top of him, he may fall short of that one. You can see that Svenskeren's coming in. Actually, there's a ward down there, as we are going to get another slight pause where they've just had issues fixed. So we are going to be jumping back into game here shortly to continue with SK Gaming versus ROCCAT. So
instant
top
action.
lane, yeah, instant action there. Freddy was of course being joined by Svenskeren. They're going to go in on towards Zazas, and Freddy able to finish off there. They bring back the kills, they bring back almost revenge from what happened to Freddy, and they're going to get the tower.
They're gonna get the tower, and there's also 40 seconds until the dragon spawns, so they can move down and make sure they don't even lose that. Great play overall by SK Gaming and getting a huge advantage.
Yeah, we can see that already Freddy has started to recall. Svenskeren is starting to move his way down as well. Actually, Jankos coming in. That is a great condemn, but the Q landed on towards Enrayton. He's going to try and kick him back, but wow, he got stunned up there from that one. Wasn't able to get into position. Overpower comes in with a barrel. Great play, and there's the execution with a super mega death rocket. Can they get another one? Max rain chuck from Banda, but they've not quite got the damage. And now Jesus is coming around. The bomb will do crazy amounts of damage. Celiva flashes away, but the spider is coming from the side. There's the repel, a flay back. Svenskeren almost going down from that one. Jesus the only one that's really healthy. He manages to land another shot, and now the crocodiles come in as well. Freddy moving in here from the side. I'm not sure that he's going to be able to get in there for the fight, and that leaves us in a bit of a strange position now with the dragon live.
Can SK actually pick up this dragon? ROCCAT are low. Trundle is teleporting down though. We will see a fight.
Trundle coming in onto the ward there in the brush. Overpower gonna hop over the wall, followed by Jankos, and the dragon pulled away from there by SK. As they double ward into the brush. Always safer than just one ward. That's what I always say, at least when it happens to me. And Dragon, actually, no one really wanted to fully risk it there. Although SK have gone back in.
Yeah, Banda recalled on a ward, so they know he's gone. They know he's out. At the same time, they know also the full position of ROCCAT right now.
See Pillar going in, the ultimate comes out of Overpower, but it's too late. SK managing to pick up the dragon, and actually they just start to back away from this one. They're happy with that pickup. It leaves them almost 2,500 gold up.
Yeah, but great move though by ROCCAT in the start. As soon as they saw the two people top, we had Overpower and Jankos moving towards the bot lane. The turret was gone, so it was a very long lane, and they could just catch and raid it in the end. He had to flash early. Wasn't enough though.
And Zazas actually still hanging around, was just in the mid lane, helping out or stealing a little bit of farm away, as I think is more likely from Overpower. And he needs it there, as we are going to see Tibbers coming down, Banda going low. One more auto attack came from Enrayton in the end, but a kill's a kill. And again, showing that this bot lane has stepped up so drastically.
And so much burst damage. Instantly, boom, they take down Banda. They can now pressure on this turret. Actually, no, they're just going to back up. Smart enough. Oh, Freddy almost catching out on Overpower.
Almost coming in. Actually, the flash was used there by Overpower, which is going to leave him vulnerable for Svenskeren, basically, to come back around from this one. You can see that already. Jankos coming towards this mid lane just so that he's near in case something does happen.
But look at the vision SK Gaming have around this dragon area. They can see everything ROCCAT is doing if they move towards the bot lane. So Candy Panda is just feeling safe. He can just stay in this lane, keep farming, even taking the golems, and he's just going to be so strong.
So very strong play of the Ruin King already in there. I'll give credit to Celiva, although they've had a lot of pressure on them in that bottom lane. He's ahead on kills, and he's actually ahead on farm as well.
It's very impressive, actually. But then again, once you have all these fights, nobody is really going to CS, and Candy Panda was also forced to back off early due to Jankos coming, so he could kind of catch up and CS there from Celiva's side. He's basically just kept it even so far. And once your support dies, at this point you can still farm. So it's not exactly like you're losing too much from it.
Zazas must be sat on a decent amount of gold at this point as well. That Warden's Mail, Blade of the Ruin King he had in there earlier on. Yeah, we can see 1,200 for him. So he's going to be going back and pretty much picking up that Randuin's Omen on the next time that he does decide to go. Actually, he doesn't have mana at this point, so not going to be able to chase Freddy down. But we saw in that last one that Freddy, his damage is actually still very, very strong.
It is. He has a lot of burst potential, or he can also sustain damage with his ultimate if he pops it in a fight.
And they're getting closer in from this one. Jankos is there. Svenskeren is actually there as well. And SK got the advantage here in terms of vision, but we see Overpower starting to move up. Oh, that was a horrible cocoon, to put it bluntly. Jankos getting turned around upon. There is the push over the top as well. They kick back, actually knocks at one, but they do pick up the kill. Freddy gets that one. Overpower is in there as well, but they still manage to pick up Zazas. They finally finish off Svenskeren. Is Freddy going to go any deeper? No, decides against it.
We just talked about the burst potential of Freddy, and then combined with Svenskeren, instantly forcing Jankos to go out. He was the guy who made the engage, but he had to flash out instantly and still died for it. And meanwhile, Jesus went bot lane and picked up a kill.
That went straight in there, throwing the bomb down. Overpower comes to the mid lane and finds that he's been pushed completely out of that one, and that his turret, if not it is, it's going to go down in this one. So SK picking up the kill advantage in the top lane. They take the bottom and the middle outer turrets, and they're having a good chop at this inner turret as well.
SK are just playing this early game pretty much perfect. ROCCAT, they don't really have an answer, because every time they try to do something, boom, SK reacts, picks up a kill or two, or takes a turret somewhere else.
This looks like a vastly different SK game into what we saw in weeks 1 and 2. See that Vander starting to move around there, and here is another replay of that bottom. This is the bomb coming in.
Yeah, and it's once again, N-Rated is making the engage. Candipendent talked about how he was the shot caller. Put your shot caller on a support who can engage, and you are in for some very nice, you know, starting team fights or starting fights.
Actually, Vander was lucky to get away from that one, and this is the turret going down as well.
Tibbers is tanking it away, man.
Easy peasy. Meanwhile, 3 people died. Oh, but we did see the fights going down at bottom as well, so that's all good. SK pushing in onto the inner turret at this point. Another inner turret looking for him. This is very ROCCAT-esque what they're doing right now. This is what the kind of play that we saw from ROCCAT. Get in a position where you can really force fast pushes like this. SK are so good at this point.
And I love this new SK way of playing. They are just so aggressive, constantly making plays, and so confident in themselves. They're not even afraid to take a 2v3 like we saw top lane, and even come out with 2 kills.
Svenskrim just controlling the enemy jungle. Candipendent is still in the last hit on the white though. Extra 77 gold. He had a little smirk on his player camera down there at the bottom. Has added that Phantom Dancer now in onto that Blade of the Ruined King, hitting so hard with those silver bolts. On the other side, we can see Static Shiv with the Bloodthirster is where Celiver's actually gone.
And now ROCCAT needs to try and extend this game. They have fairly decent wave clear with the Gragas, and if Celiver, he has a Static Shiv, he can also clear at least some of the wave. So if they can just keep extending, they can maybe get back in the game as it is right now, but versus a 6 who's just gonna poke you constantly on the turret, it is gonna be very hard.
And we just saw that Overpower taking a big hit. Meanwhile, Freddy taking the top tower for free, to be honest. Xaxus comes around, Freddy will just beat down the last couple of hits that he needed, and Xaxus can't do a thing about it. All outer and all inner turrets now taken by SK Gaming. They're not messing around in this one.
Not at all. Dragon is spawning out, they're ready for it. 2B, they're just waiting for it to spawn. Completely cool. They know ROCCAT won't even try and challenge this one.
Not anywhere near in a position for that one. They've got no turrets left outside of their base. They need to get that control back of their own jungle. And you can see on the bottom side around their blue, they've got pink wards in there. They've got a lot of wards to try and hold the vision and not get caught.
Now it's the time where SK have to show we know how to close a game. They have the option of either forcing a Baron or putting Candipendent in one lane like we see right now, having Freddy in the other one, and then keep Jesus in the mid lane, and you just shove up everything and you constantly pressure every lane, and as long as ROCCAT cannot 1v1 any of them from SK Gaming, they can't stop it.
That's the next test, isn't it? How, we talked about early game, they did that. We talked about the fights around the Dragon, this team fighting in the mid game. They've done that well. Question now is, how well can they close out games? We're going to be finding out here shortly. They've got a big gold lead. I mean, it's almost 10,000 in their favor.
It is indeed. And now the question for ROCCAT is, how good are you at making a comeback? What is ROCCAT thinking right now? What is the plan for them? How will they try to get back in this game?
Well, a Baron throw is one way to do it from SK's side. Actually, they catch Vander out there. It's Tibbers going down. Boom! Jesus picks up that one. And now it's all on Jankos, who actually just got away onto the golems. But there's one man down, and Jankos is actually having to recall here, which means there's going to be no smite. It's basically left to Overpower's barrel.
Now, Gragas has pretty much one of the best chances of stealing a Baron with his Q, and then he's followed by his ultimate. He can do more damage than a smite.
Oh, going very, very low. They've stolen it. ROCCAT have picked up the Baron. That was so chaotic. And look, Jankos, he wasn't even in range to smite that one down. Svenskrim mistiming it with a burst that came there from the barrel. Not what you want when you're in the lead.
Definitely not. But Svenskrim expected Overpower to activate his Q instantly. Instead, he threw in the ultimate, delayed his Q, waited for the smite, and then he popped it and took the Baron.
Let's have a look at that one again. You can see that Q rolling in.
And then he throws the ultimate right here. Q is not activated yet. It's still lying right there. And then he pops it after the smite and takes the Baron.
That's Svenskeren just a little bit too late for that one. But great play from ROCCAT. That's the chance that they needed now in this game. It claws them back. It means that SK going to have a little bit tougher time. You can see there ROCCAT freezing that lane on the steps so that they can keep farming whilst not having to venture too far out of the base.
Yeah, and we were just saying, how is ROCCAT going to respond? Stealing a Baron is a pretty good idea.
Yeah, or throwing the Baron if you're SK Gaming with this kind of
It's a pretty bad idea, yeah.
Is a bad idea as well. I mean, is it worth it at this point of the game when you're that far ahead to risk that?
Not at all. That was why, as I mentioned, they could also simply spread out in the lanes and just push everything up. Leave the Nash as it is. They are strong enough. They don't need this extra buff to help them out.
Well, now ROCCAT have got it, which helps them out certainly. See the lenses just coming out there to sweep that top side of the jungle. SK now pushing down the mid somewhat. Freddy had just been back to bite. And you can see from the play cams, if you look at SK, their face has gone from one of happiness to one of, oh my god, this could actually slip away if we're not careful.
Yeah, but we shouldn't really put too much into this Baron buff. They are still about 8k ahead, and they have pretty much stronger champions at this point in every single role. They can still spread out, do the same push, or they can just wait and let Vayne get stronger and stronger, and let 6 get stronger and stronger.
Speaking of Vayne, got that last whisper added in there, as does Celiver, who's now 3-3-0. Finally, a kill came down during that there for Candypan, who's now sat at 1-0-4. Had a brilliant weekend so far, there's no doubt in that one. Meanwhile, SK now moving towards that bottom lane. As we said, there's nothing outside of the base up for grabs. The Baron buff's on here for ROCCAT, so wise, I think, not to be pushing too hard while that Baron buff is active. And that pink ward somehow is surviving all this time. Nobody
likes to check the bushes for some reason, except for ROCCAT.
Except for when people are in it, funnily enough.
That is true. Then, yeah, that is actually very true.
Yeah.
One thing I want to point out, though, about the Baron, there was a green ward from ROCCAT's side, which was blocked by Baron. There was a pink ward in the pit. It couldn't see it due to Baron actually blocking the vision for it. A bit unlucky for SK, also with the bot lane part where the pink ward again was also blocking the vision on a green ward.
Well, that's kind of things happening, and ROCCAT, well, they'll take it for granted. There we go, he can scan the pink out and see that it's there, even though he didn't need the scan. Or
they don't even want to kill it.
Yeah, they just like it. They like that pink ward. They're going to leave it alive the entire game now. But they've got the blue buff. That steal coming in. And always a good one. Take away as much as you can into the enemy jungle, and that Baron buff slowly but surely going to be timing out, and SK should start to move forward again.
Yeah, and they can simply just keep Candypan in his bot lane, and there's nobody who can deal with him. He's going to get a lot of free hits on the turret, unless ROCCAT sends multiple people to stop him, but then SK is obviously just going to punish him in the mid lane or the top lane.
There is Overpower just pushing out as far as they can, because that's how you are going to make these games last longer. Just push those waves as far out and let them have to be re-pushed by everyone. Freddy obviously going to the top lane, Candypan sticking around the bottom. But ROCCAT are actually being a little bit braver about things now, starting as the lanes are pushed through to move up through their jungle and try and get some of that vision back.
But look at the vision control they have already. They can see everything SK is doing in their jungle. So really smart play. It actually gives them a red buff right now, and it gives them more safety to go clear the jungle camps and get some extra farm.
Speaking of camps, the Dragon is coming up in 15 seconds time. Not sure if ROCCAT will be quite as determined to contest that one as they were the Baron buff earlier on, but certainly worth its gold at this point. That would be another great pickup for ROCCAT if they could come in, but the risk, I think, just too high for them here.
Yeah, as long as SK is standing where they are now, there's no chance for ROCCAT to move down, unless they want to run straight into the face of SK Gaming, and they don't really want to fight right now. They just want to try and farm up as much as they can.
But can they hold them off the turrets once these sieges start coming in? We talked about Ziggs before and how much of a pain he's going to be constantly just launching damage their way.
They more or less have to try and engage on the Ziggs before they get poked too much. And at the same time, if they put 5 people in mid to engage and just leave Candypan to push a turret, they might be able to win a fight. Yes, they will lose a turret for it, but all in all, they have to do something. And they won't be able to kill Candypan at 1v1.
Svenskeren did just back off and do the Dragon. So that brings the Baron timer back up. Less than 2 minutes until that comes in, and you have to wonder, are SK going to make the play around that one? Are they going to risk starting it off and going that far on damage onto it this time?
I feel at least, though, that SK lost some of the momentum they had. They were, they were so confident in the play. They were aggressive, making plays constantly. Then the Baron steal is, and you just like boom, completely lose faith in themselves. And it's very normal that you do like that because the mentality you have is like, oh, we don't want to throw this game. We are so far ahead, and then you sometimes end up just doing nothing. And that's actually how you really throw a game.
Just by doing nothing when you've got that lead and not making it count. ROCCAT will be quite happy with that to happen, though. They'll just sit back, farm everything up, get themselves as far on as they can in terms of items before these next fights start to come around. We can actually see Lichbane just being picked up there. And we have got Svenskeren here in this top lane. He's going to repel himself, gets behind Jankos there. Oh. The kick will actually push him back to his tower. And, well, nicely escaped for by Svenskeren.
Yeah, Jankos tried to flash kick him back into the rest of ROCCAT. Didn't work for him. He didn't get behind Svenskeren, so instead he just kicked him to safety.
And there is a pink ward going in. This time around, SK going to make sure that that Baron is clear or not, because another ward comes in. And Rated a little bit scared to actually move forward and have a go at that one, because they don't quite know what's waiting over the other side of the wall. There they let that one in. They know that it's there at the back. 20 seconds here until Baron comes up. Lee Sin and Gragas both went back. Well, they're going to be back in time for when this gets started off.
That is one useless pink ward. They couldn't even spot that one. They had to use the sweep lens once again to clear it. Not really sure what's wrong with that pink ward.
No, not working out for them. Freddy here gets himself another one. They're just throwing wards at him, basically hoping that one of them is going to get through the nets. Jankos takes a lot of damage. I say a lot of damage. It didn't really take a lot of damage at all. I just lied about that. I thought he'd taken a lot of damage, but actually got away from the most of it. And SK playing positioning really nicely. There's a pink ward to be taken down. Hulk not quite landed. And that means now that ROCCAT going forward from this one. Barrel from the side. Freddy's right in the middle of them. Vander going very low. There's the flash in from Enrated. But they didn't get the stun down. It leaves them at 1-for-1 now as Gragas falls. Jankos off at the side going to take the damage. There's the stun coming across the side. Jesus gets another one, but look at Candy Panda. He's ripping them to pieces right now. Satchel Charge won't knock him in the right direction, but they can chase. Oh. Cocoon is going to be gotten away from. One more hit will do it. The Spider's chasing in, but Candy Panda gets the kill, and there is Svenskeren to pounce. That's an ace, and surely the game here for SK.
And that was a perfect team fight for SK Gaming. ROCCAT engages on 4 members. No Candy Panda is there. He comes in from the top side, completely untouched, and he can just finish up everyone.
Well, they are going to be tanking up those two Nexus turrets from this one, but they won't mind too much. Candy Panda's got his barrier, he's even got his Guardian Angel, should he need it, but I think he wants someone else to be going down from this one so that they've got that damage coming in. 7 seconds till ROCCAT spawn. Not going to be fast enough. SK have a perfect day and take down ROCCAT. Wow.
Wow, just wow. SK Gaming are looking fantastic. The entire game, they had everything under control. There was the Baron throw, yes, but it didn't really matter. It just delayed the game by a few minutes.
Amazing stuff from SK. This looked like a team that, I don't know, when you saw their faces after the losses that they had, they looked so like they had no idea what was going on, to be honest. Like they were, without any ideas. This is a completely different team. I don't know what they've been feeding them over this week, but it's certainly working out.
The main reason for me that this SK team is really stepping up is due to Svenskeren being very active this weekend. He had a bad last week, but this time he's been pretty much going wherever he was to just pick up kills. At the same time, Enrated and Candy Panda together, they've found some synergy and they're playing so well, and they're really picking up kills in the lane.
Having a great lane phase. See there, SK moving back after shaking hands, and make no man happier than Candy Panda there. Obviously picking up a win against his former support Nif earlier on when they took down Alliance. Picking up this one here, but I have to ask you, Deficio, what was your moment of that game? Because there was some great plays from Svenskeren. The fact that we said he needs to be as active as he was against Alliance earlier on, and he did it here, for me was very, very special to see.
Yeah, I mean, Svenskeren, the entire game was a pleasure to watch. A moment for me, I absolutely loved the fight they had top with Freddy and him versus 3 members of ROCCAT. Jankos like, okay, I'm going to engage on this, we're going to win it, and instead you just turn around, instantly kill him, and pick up another kill. And that just showed SK Gaming how confident they were, and also how well they actually played.